Court stops reinstatement of Emir Sanusi. Ha ha, can you imagine? So are you sure even after what do you call it? I think the governor of Kano State, uh, Abba Kabir Yusuf, had assented into that bill to turn it to law. It has been signed, I think so. So now that the man had already landed Kano in preparation to assume office, now the Kano State High Court is now saying that he should not. Everything should be status quo until the case is heard in court in June. This is, I don't know how, because I know that the people don't want to leave office. They are already filing court cases against their rights and checking so many things. But again, let's dive into the details to see how the Federal High Court sitting in Kano want to handle it. A Federal High Court in Kano has issued an order stopping the Kano State government from enforcing the Kano State Emirate Council repeal law. Because I know that the State House of Assembly had repealed the law and now a new law is to take effect. But now Kano State High Court is stopping them from enforcing it. So Justice Mohammed Liman granted the order in an application by Alhaji Aminu Baba Dan Agundi, the Sarkin Dawaki Baba of the Kano Emirate. Court papers regarding the case has since gone viral. The Kano State House of Assembly on Thursday dissolved all 4 newly created Emirate councils in the state, Punch reported. So the dissolution of the affected emirate was sequel to deliberations on the floor of the House during a plenary. So Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf on Thursday reappointed Lamido Sanusi as the Emir of Kano 4 years after he was dethroned by a former governor of the state, Umar Ganduje. Yes. So in addition, the governor deposed 5 emirs appointed by Ganduje and gave them 48-hour ultimatum to vacate their official residence and palaces. So he also directed them to hand over all affairs to the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. So in the latest lawsuit concerning the Emir's seat, the news agency reports that the respondents in the fundamental rights case are the Kano State Government, the House of Assembly, the Speaker, the Attorney General, and the Commissioner for the Attorney General, the Commissioner of Police, the Inspector General of Police, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the State Security Services. Meanwhile, the court ordered that all court processes be served on the IGP in Abuja. So the judge ruled that parties are hereby ordered to maintain status quo until the passage and the assent of the bill into law, pending the hearing of the fundamental rights application. So that in view of the constitutional and jurisdictional issues apparent on the face of the application, parties shall address the court on same at the hearing of the fundamental rights application, which is fixed for the 3rd of June 2024. That in order to maintain the peace and security of the state, an interim injunction of this honorable court is granted restraining the 5th to 8th respondents, CP, IGP, NSCDC, and DSS and SSS from enforcing, executing, implementing, and operationalizing the Kano State Emirate Council repeal law. That parties are hereby ordered to maintain status quo until the passage and assent of the bill into law, pending the hearing of the fundamental rights application. That this case is adjourned to the 3rd of June 2024 for hearing of the fundamental rights application. Status quo ante refers to the previously existing state of affairs. Can you imagine? Status quo ante. So the repeal law, known as the Kano State Emir's Appointment and Deposition Law, has created Rano, Karaye, Gaya, and Bichi Emirate in addition to Kano. So the law's repeal means that the newly created Emirate have been dissolved, consolidating the Kano Emirate once again under a single ruler. Wow. So all these, what Ganduje did was more of a divide and rule system to divide the Emirates so that they could stop uniting and then he could manage them. So the thing here is, even with this letter from the Federal High Court, Sanusi cannot assume the throne anymore for now until the case is heard. This is a very serious challenge that is coming to them, but I know that they should be able to handle it. Only God knows how it's going to go. I know that the people that were deposed will not want to go. And I don't know why Sanusi did not challenge his own too when Ganduje removed him. Yeah? Well, it depends on the relationship between the executive and the judicial arm of government in the state. And somebody say kangaroo judgment. Where was the court of law when Ganduje removed Sanusi Lamido Sanusi then? Ganduje even disobeyed the court of law to maintain status quo. Judiciary has no power to repeal the law. So far, legislature and executive have assented to it. It becomes law. Exactly. That is another thing. You cannot stop executive and the legislature. They make the law, and the judiciary just to interpret and implement the law. The judiciary falls into the law enforcement, law interpretation, implementation process of the government. So they can't, I don't think the judiciary can dictate for the executive and the legislature. That is another aspect that I need to understand. So my brother, there's nothing anybody can do. Okay. The Kano State House of Assembly has issued a statement. That statement stands. That is the thing. That is the problem. There's nothing they can do. The judiciary is just being funny because they will tell the judiciary where it is our law. So they want to indirectly use federal might or professional criminals. Exactly. APC. Yeah? We are not in a banana republic. We are governed by rule of law. So what? Does the Federal High Court have jurisdiction over chieftaincy matters? These, our Federal High Court judges should know their boundaries. Exactly. You're supposed to go to the customary court, not the Federal High Court. It's customary court. So where was the court when Ganduje was misbehaving? Exactly. That is the same question. Yeah, a court might have right over any matter if the fundamental right is violated, but they cannot ask the legislators not to pass a certain law, a certain bill into law. They can only look at the loophole when the bill is passed. Exactly. So that is where I have challenge now. They don't have the power to tell legislators not to pass a bill into law. Okay? Their own is to interpret the law and find out how to make it most effective. Now, wow. So, madness, do we have court or judiciary? We don't know. This is an old news now. From every indication, why are you bringing it up to confuse people? The right procedures are already followed, and that court ruling does not hold now. Okay? The court ruling does not hold now. The court ruling does not hold now. It is really unfortunate that Nigerian courts are now errand boys in the hands of Nigerian politicians. So sad. It is very, very bad. Very, very bad. So thank you for listening. Let's have your comment. We're going to also check for the update and be sure if the legislative and the executive arm of Kano State government obeyed the Kano High Court instruction or not, and whether they have the right to, whether the court has the right to overrule legislative and executive arm of government. We need to know. So thank you for listening. Let's have your comment in this regard.